everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Chiropractic Conference Call, sponsored by DE and Banda Brothers. We have a special guest tonight. She's been born and raised in DE. Went to DE long before she went to chiropractic school, and she's been speaking at DE as long as I've been going to DE. That's a long, long time. She's from La Pointe, Indiana. She is the ICA rep of the great state of Indiana, and I had just done a informal bet, and she has one of the greatest laughs in the history of DE. She's a mother of three, and she's got a rockin' ass practice and a great husband, and just lives the DE lifestyle. So none other than my girl Liz Rassel. Liz, take it over.
Hey everybody! Thanks for that awesome introduction, Andy. You must be on the elliptical, getting your groove on to get ready for April DE. When Brian asked me to do the conference call last weekend, I really wanted to do it, but I knew I was going to be in Phoenix, Arizona, seeing my family for extended little vacation. And he said, could you do it Tuesday? And I was like, yeah, I'm super honored to come and hang out with my fellow chiropractors. And I was thinking about what I wanted to speak about today. I was also thinking about the last time I was asked, and I really unloaded a lot of crap, and I was able to grow personally. But I heard Dr. Judson's podcast with Denise Dobbs, and man, it really affected me. Denise is such a warrior. And I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I mean, maybe because I'm nervous right now, a little bit nervous, but Denise is amazing. You know, she's a sister in chiropractic. She's been around DE for many, many years, and her amazing husband and their beautiful children. We were able to go down to Palmer Chiropractic College and do an intensive down there with all of our families, 18, 22 chiropractors, and really enjoyed that camaraderie. And that weekend I was able to get to know Denise Dobbs and her children. And, going into the BJ Palmer house, into the museum, it was like a photograph chiropractic dream to go in there. So I was taking tons of photos. I think that was a good 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. It was during a crazy snowstorm in January, and I brought Dr. Shanna Dudash, my associate, and man, we just had a wonderful time. But every time I turned around, a lot of times you'll take a picture or something and you need to know how big it is, life size. And Denise and Ryan and their kids were right next to me the whole time. So I was like paparazzi on them. Every time I turned around, they were like, oh, look at the ceiling, or, oh, those are amazing books. I mean, they were in every single photo. And I think I sent those to Ryan. But when I heard Denise and Dr. Judson on their podcast, I started thinking about really what kind of strife that she has been through and challenges. And, everybody has a different challenge. It might be a health challenge. It might be building your practice. It might be tolerating your staff. It might be training a new associate. It might be losing your associate and having to deal with your high volume practice. I mean, everybody has different challenges. Going to school at the age of 97. Oh, wait a minute. Kim Smith isn't 97. How old are you, Aunt Kimmy? You're 53 years old. I mean, think about that. 53 years old, a mind of a 53-year-old going to school to become a chiropractor. I mean, that's dedication. And, I think back about really what DE is and how Denise is persevering, and how all of us, losing an associate, some of us growing, our families growing, becoming chiropractic. We have children of they're becoming chiropractors. There's so many blessings and there's so many strives that we individually have to overcome. And everybody, even in our practice, we speak to our patients, we communicate with them, we hear their story. One of my patients, God bless him, he just came back 6 years. Prior to him coming back, he was a raging alcoholic. I mean, bad. He would come in the middle of the day smelling like pine needles, I knew he was lit. I knew it was a challenge for him to get there. I couldn't believe he even drove. But he recently reactivated in our office, and he's been sober for 5.5 years. And when he shared with me, when he came in, like, he started crying, and he said, you know, when I came into this office, I knew that it was amazing, but I was so oblivious to what was going on in my life because I was trying to numb the pain. But I knew this was a good place. And he came in and he looked around, he saw the colors, he felt the energy. Immediately I greeted him from a distance because we can see across who comes in the front door from 3 of 4 adjusting rooms. And I said, hey, Dougie, good to see you. And he just like lit up. So during his exam, he shared with me that he had been clean and that he recently was diagnosed with, I don't even know, stage 4 cancer. And he started sharing with me how he's okay with it. And he's been going through different communications with people and trials. And I don't even know what the word I'm trying to looking for. He was going through counseling to move through that he is potentially going to transcend and move on. And I thought, man, what a trial. I can't even imagine. I can't even wrap my brain around where he is. And, you know, everybody has a trial. Everybody has shit that happens in their lives that they have to frickin' manage, you know, craziness, whether it's blessings or hardship or health issues. Everybody has to manage their life. And what I have learned, and I recently saw on Facebook, someone asked, what's your superpower? And my superpower is perseverance. And where I learned perseverance is at DE, at Dynamic Essential. The seminar that we get to go to 4 times a year is life altering for me and my family, because I'd be a freaking mess if I had to micromanage my entire life without the tools that I've learned at DE. I mean, so many people are wishy-washy, whether it's the vaccine, whether it's wearing a mask, whether it's believing what your neighbor says. I mean, it's all belief system. It's all how you interpret your reality and how you relate to your environment. It's how you manage your craziness. It's how you overcome your health obstacles. It's how you educate your children. It's how you educate your staff. It's how you hold integrity within yourself, whether you're going to dye your hair, not dye your hair. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I'm so thankful to DE, because the things that I've learned as a 51-year-old woman, I can pour back into my children. A few different times from the stage, and back to Denise, like, she's amazing. Like, I listened to that podcast and I was overwhelmed. I mean, my heart just hurt because I'm like, wow, that's like freaking real. Like, my problems are so minuscule compared to what she gets to overcome. But she learned tools of how to overcome those obstacles from DE, and that's what makes her great. That's what makes her amazing. And her husband, Ryan, like, their attitude of gratitude, as Dr. Away says, is up here. And, you know, when things are going good, or even when they're not so bad, sometimes you fail to be full of gratitude. It's only when, like, you really fall down and you skin your knee and you get up and you're like, man, I just almost got my ass kicked. I'm so thankful that I have all these other blessings in my life. You know what I mean? Like, I just pray for myself that I never, ever, ever lose that ability to overcome and persevere. And I really want to encourage everyone to take that to heart. Like, we only have so many days. We have so many hours. We have so many minutes in our life. Like, how do you spend that time? I mean, 51 years old is not that old compared to some, but I only have 50 years left. You know, like, I've already lived 50 years of my life. And the things that I've chosen to do, I only have that much equal time to get the things that I need to get done. And what are the things that we really need to get done? Like, really, what are the things that we need to get done? Do we need to have more animals? Do we need to have more children? Do we need to build a bigger practice? Do we need to find a husband? Do we need to, like, what are the things that really need to get done? And the bottom line is, we need to live. We need to live the life that we were meant to live. The kind of life where you can go to bed every night and say, is tonight my last night? Is tonight going to be the night that I'm not going to wake up? Is tonight the night that the last night I get to sleep in my bed next to my husband, next to my wife, next to my children? Was today wasted? Or did I really put forth my best effort and go to bed going, you know what? That was the best life. Are you living your best life? Are you living your best life? Like, what better life could you really live? Like, I'm living my best life. I absolutely love my life. I've got an amazing family, not only individual, but I have a chiropractic family. I can't even imagine my life without many of you on this call or at DE. It's a blessing. I'm so safe. I feel so safe in my heart in so many different ways. Misty Browning, God bless her. She just got married. I remember hanging out with her 8 years ago, and someone posted something. I don't even know. I can't even see it. I'm on my little computer, on my little phone. Misty Browning just got married to the man that she manifested. Like, you guys know Misty. We'd be hanging out at the bar after DE or going to dinner. We'd be looking over. There was a beautiful man. She's telling me about texting she couldn't find. She went on these blind dates, guy after guy. She's like, nope, that's not him. Next. That's not the right one. And man, she manifested it. And don't tell me that she knew who she was going to marry before, because she would come in and just be like, chop, 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 chop. And she finally found her husband, Holland, and they're perfect for each other. And I'm just so happy for Misty, because she learned to manifest her destiny by going to DE. DE gave her the tools of visualization. Those breaths that she would go to on Thursday night, she might not have been sitting in all the speakers, but she manifested Holland at the right place at the right time. She was at the right place at the right time, having an experience that she was able to connect through 6 degrees of separation. I mean, I love that girl. Amazing. Another person that manifested, and I've been praying for, is my good friend Scott Englander, chiropractor. Went to school with him, practiced in Costa Rica, is practicing, and he came down with a potentially terminal disease. His kidneys were failing, and he went through dialysis in Costa Rica. Anyway, craziness with the COVID and whatnot. He was cut off. And so now he is living in New York away from his family. And he got on a waiting list to get a kidney. And he's been suffering for 1.5 years, 2 years with low energy. I don't know if anyone's familiar with kidney disease, but it's not good. I mean, from what I understand, it is not good. I have a patient that has kidney disease. But every night, when I would say my prayers, I just told the Lord, listen, I trust that you're going to protect him. You're going to manifest for him. I see it. I see him whole. I see him healing. I see him healed. I trust that you are going to find a kidney for him. He's going to be at the right place at the right time. The right person is going to get the calling. And he just called me yesterday and said, Liz, you're never going to believe, like, we have a match, and I'm getting the surgery at the end of March, beginning of April. And even though DE, Scott is not a DE practitioner, the principles that we learn at DE manifested in this chiropractor. It manifested with me. I tapped in. I know many people were praying for him, and I'm just so blessed. It really is about giving back. It's about finding opportunities to serve. It's about service. It's about being thankful and full of gratitude for what you have, but finding ways of giving to your fellow people that expect nothing in return. I was down with at the ICA pediatric conference, and I don't even know what the name of it is. ICA was having their national board meeting where Dr. Selena Sigafus was, and Brian and Steve and Eddie Martinez, and crazy people showed up. BJ Hardig, and I went to school with him. He was great. But I was thinking about like my friend Mindy, and she texted and she goes, "Oh, you're going to be down in Florida, Orlando. I'm going to come down and see you." I'm like, "I would love that. You would seriously drive up? I would be honored if you did that." So she drove up and we went out to dinner. And as she was driving up, I didn't have a car. And I said, "I totally forgot my socks to go work out and to wear my gym shoes. Is there any way that I could borrow a pair of your socks and I'll give them back to you?" And you know what that girl did? She stopped by Target and she picked me up a 6-pack of socks. Now, of course, you borrow something from someone and you want to pay it back. It's reciprocity. You give and you make sure that you're even in your giving. It's hard to just receive for the sake of receiving. So when she gave me these socks and brought me these socks, I was like, "Oh, how much do I owe you? Here's $20. She's like, "I'm almost offended that you would want to pay me for those." I go, "Well, it's just, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that you were able to give me these socks." But that's the kind of giving I'm talking about. Like, of course, she didn't give me $1,000, but she gave me socks. She brought socks to me. And, Mindy might not have brought socks prior to being a practitioner, a DE practitioner, a principled chiropractor, someone that really gives, loves, and serves. And I naturally tried to give her the money back, but she wouldn't take it. But, those are the kind of people that I get to surround myself with, someone that will drive an hour and a half up to have lunch with me as I'm secret stalking the ICA. And I don't know, I just feel very fortunate and thankful for her that she did that. My boys, Frankie and Riker, they're awesome. Every day I get to drive them to the Queen of All Saints Catholic School, which we put them into. And at first I wasn't happy about driving them over there because it's a good 25-minute drive. And I can see Steve like on his iPhone and he's like, "Yeah, I'm dropping off the kids and I'm going to work and I'm doing a quick podcast," or, a little entry. And I'm thinking, man, what a waste of time to be. I got this beautiful home office. Why would I want to drive anywhere? It just seems like such a waste of time. And at first I wasn't happy about it. But once I started going, it was actually the second or third time I went to Michigan City and drove them over there. I realized what an incredible opportunity that I have to pour into these little guys. Like, I've been poured into my entire life with the principle of chiropractic and understanding and believing and trusting in this principle, this life principle, that the power that made the body heals the body. I'm just going to make them like little militants, like, hail innate intelligence. I'm just going to get them all in and I'm going to pour into them. So every day, whoever gets to sit in the front seat, and of course they're always fighting for the front seat, even, odd, whatever day of the week it is, like today's number 22. Oh, by the way, today's George Washington's birthday. We just celebrated President's Day on Monday. But George Washington was born on February 22nd of, what did my husband say, 1793. And he told me that he was going to be 290 years old. I mean, crazy. George Washington. That was many, many years ago. 290 years old he would have been. But so Frankie, or Riker, got to sit in the car on the way to school today. And he's like, "Mom, why do we celebrate President's Day? Is it every president? When were they born? When did they get to serve?" And so then we started talking about, like, who's your favorite president? And of course, the boys are all about it. They put out flags in the office to celebrate President's Day yesterday. And they put it out in the piles of snow on our beautiful picket fence on the far side, the wrought iron fence. They went down and got all the 4th of July flags out. But we started talking about the presidents and what they mean and what was going on and the struggles that were happening years and years ago when the United States was trying to become like a sovereign country without the control of another country. So that was today's conversation. But one of my favorite conversations with the little guys is Riker is all in to I feel happy. I feel healthy. I feel terrific. And of course they start clapping. They have to take their mittens off because they like really want the big claps. But Riker loves that. And what he loves the most is when we open up the sliding door of the big sprinter and the principal is out there to gather us. And we open up the door and they pop out and they give me big hugs. And I always tell them, make it a good day because it's your choice whether you want to have a good day or not. So back to what we were originally saying is, what do we do with our trials? What do we do with our everyday life? Who are we pouring into? Are we pouring into ourselves? Are we pouring into our patients? Are we pouring into our children? What are we trying to do? Like, are we living our best life? Like, are we living our best life? And I would definitely challenge you to live your best life. At DE, you know, a lot of our late greats have surpassed us, and it's hard to just listen to the 2 or 3 hours of Dick Santo or Bob Sotilli. I don't know where those videos are, audios are, but he was one of my favorite speakers because he didn't give a crap. Like, he cussed on stage. I know he wasn't happy about that because Dee Dee was in the room, but he would just spout off information of like, where's the battle? The battle isn't whether we, our chiropractors, are good enough. The battle is we need to open up these people's minds that drugs aren't the solution. Natural healthcare is our solution. And that's what we're selling. That's what we're promoting. That's what we're telling people. To live your best life, there's a couple different facets that you have to do. First of all, you have to be aware. You have to be humble and obedient to that power that's inside of you. Like, that makes sense, right? Like, there's a power that's inside of you. And we are the key holders. We're the ringleaders of a clear nervous system. Only chiropractors remove interference. You've been called. You're a chiropractor. Dr. Jordan Hutzel, which is an intern. It's my first, I'm a peak doctor now, which is exciting because he gets to come to my office every day. Dr. Paul Blumstack said, maybe you should go see Dr. Rassel. She might want to be your peak doctor. So he's doing peak with me. And this poor kid, I love him to death. Man, he's like wet behind the ears, but he's got that heart of gold. Like, he's just like, yes, ma'am, whatever it takes, I'm all in. Like, he's all in to doing whatever needs to be done. And he's a second generation chiropractor. And we started training him on obviously office procedures, how our office runs. You know, I told him the number one goal for you as a peak doctor, and this is what we told Dr. Shanna when she came into an established practice, is the goal is to be the chameleon. You want to be just like what's been going on here. Because if you go left and we're going right, there's going to be a division. They're going to notice a change right down to the way you touch a patient, the way you adjust a patient, the way you approach a patient, how you dismiss a patient, how you interact with someone, and keep up with that same flow that's happening in the office. Because if not, you're going to be the fish out of the water looking like you don't know what you're doing because the stream is going to the right. So Jordan's all in, and it's so fun to revisit. I mean, we've been doing this for 20 years here in this practice or more, and it's so fun to revisit just the original. Who did we see? It was they took a video of their first consultation and the connection they made, and even Mindy brought it up, like, I'm just going to like tighten up my consultation. And really, what is that consultation about? It's about being present. It's like walking in, listening, hearing, repeating, telling them what we do, and then redirecting them to what chiropractic really is. So it's about learning that. And it's so fun to revisit all of these original things that you have in your office to pour into this new practitioner. I mean, I told them my number one goal is within 10 weeks to make you capable to open your own office, get some solid procedures that you feel comfortable with doing, or at least get my wheel memorized so that you don't have to reinvent your wheel, and get you on the right path of connecting with people. I mean, people don't come in necessarily for your chiropractic adjustment. They come in for the belief in what you do. I have found the underlying cause of all or nearly all your problems, and it's right here. We have found it. I've found it right here. This is the problem that you're having, and we're going to be able to fix it right here in this office. It's going to take some time, some effort, and repetition. It's not going to happen overnight. You can't just drop a plant of corn and expect that you're going to get a whole plant and eat the ear and boil it the next day, right? You can't just plant a seed and think that it's going to grow. It's going to take some time, effort, and repetition. So it's about communicating that principle that when you get the power turned on and you get the life energy restored, your body is going to work better. All of the problems that you're having, your unhealthiness in your body, is due to a discommunication between your brain and the tissue cells of your body. So that's what we do, is we restore life. We help your body to restore the power that's inside, that was given to you at birth. From the second that you're conceived, when one egg and one sperm came together, that spirit went inside, and within 9 months, you were made into a beautiful baby, living, breathing. You didn't have to plug into the wall to grow into the men and the women that you are right now. So that same intelligence that's inside of your body controls and coordinates every function. Let me say that again. The same intelligence that was put into your body when one egg and one sperm came together, that innate intelligence, is the same intelligence that controls everything. So your job on this earth is to live your best life, to express 100% of who you are. And that makes sense. So what I do is I move the bone and God does the healing, because we agree God created you, right? You weren't created from a lab. You were created from a higher power, this intelligence, God, innate. So it's fun. It's fun to be with Dr. Jordan because he's very receptive. And it's just been such a blast. It's been a blast to work with him. And it also gets me back focused in what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. It's really easy to go through the mundane, everyday procedures, or not even procedures, like just show up to your practice and love life and have a good time and talk about the weather and talk about vacation. What's this person been doing? And these are new shoes or fun things. And, just connect, ask about their families. And it's fun to connect. But when you really have to redirect and know that every opportunity in your practice that someone's watching you, and then as soon as you do the 1, 2, 3s, go back around and say, okay, what did you learn from that? Why did I talk to him that way? Why was I direct and straightforward? Well, because that's the kind of person he is. So we have to learn how to communicate with our patients to get them redirected to become the best patients. Because the goal in our office is to get them to stay, pay, and refer so that we can change their life through chiropractic. That's our goal. That makes sense. We have a different mission, but that's the goal. Our mission is to free humanity of sickness and disease of the mind, the body, and the spirit through chiropractic education and enlightenment. I mean, that makes sense. That's what our mission is. So tonight I got to take Riker to Taekwondo, and he is so in love with Taekwondo, even though he's not very good at it, but he tries. I mean, he's 7 and he's a klutzy little kid, and he's not genetically a Rassel or an Ekovich, so we're remolding him. But we're gonna support him and his passion, and some of the passion that he has is just showing up. Like, he will not miss class. Like, every class there is, he's all in. He is committed. And up on the wall of the Taekwondo, and I know at the last DE I read the creed, but I started looking at the walls, and they have different things. And every quarter they have the kids all line up, and they line up by heights, and then they say, okay, go to your star, and they go, and they go, yes, sir. And then they yell the phrase of that quarter, and it was communication. I think it was communication. And I started looking at the signs up on the wall, and I thought, man, this is like so DE. I cannot believe that they're teaching these kids. I mean, they might not even be teaching it, but it is there. So the first one is discipline. And the definition is, discipline is to obey what is right. discipline, to obey what is right, to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. Show up, report for duty. My mother always said that. Like, my job is to show up and to take care of my patients. Your job is to be on time for school and to apply yourself. You might not be the best student, but your job is to apply yourself. Do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. Discipline is to obey what is right. The second one is belief. Belief is yes, I can. It's the mantra. It's like, oh God, I'm so fear. False evidence appearing real. I'm so afraid of the dark. Oh my gosh, I'm afraid. Cancel. Belief is yes, I can. Yes, I can. Where's your belief? Yes, I can. Pick me. Pick me. Yes, I can. I can. I can. I will. I must. I must. The third is communication up on the wall, is the link between the world and me. Communication. The link between the world and me. I am not a human being having I'm not a human being having a spiritual experience. I am a spiritual being having a human experience. And my communication to others, to the world, communication is the link between the world and me. So I am not the world. I am a spiritual being having a human experience, communicating to the world. That's key. That separateness, that distinctness makes us like really supreme intelligence, because we have intelligence in our body. That makes sense. That makes sense. Communication, for real. The fourth is respect. So the definition they have up on the wall is respect is not what you know, it's what you do. It's what you do. I think Mindy with those, socks and all the other beautiful blessings of people just showing up in my life and what they do for me. It's not what you know, it's what you do. That shows respect for the people around you and for yourself. What you do for yourself is self-respect. It's not what you know, it's what you do. And the last and the most important is self-esteem. Self-esteem. When you think about self-esteem, what is self-esteem? It's that internal fire that's inside of you that you know you can do what you want to do. And it's not just that fire, but it's the joy of being you. Like, think about that. Self-esteem on the wall, it says it's the joy of being myself. Self-esteem. Where's your self-esteem? Self-esteem is not being arrogant. It's not being cocky. It's not being egotistical. It's the confidence and it's the joy of being who you are. Like, that makes sense. So if any of these areas resonate with you, I would really tune into that and do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. Communicate to the outside world, knowing that they are just the link. They are the world. They are not spiritual beings. This countertop is not a spiritual being. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. This is the gift. This is a total gift. And the bottom line is to realize that you have a very short period on this time. It's on this earth, and it's how you use your time to become the best you ever. And many of us have already elevated to that level. We are living our best life. We are blessed beyond belief to have the children, to have the spouses, to have the experience, but realize that even in the toughest time, that's when you pull out your sword, because the sword never sharpens until it hits the stone. So if you are having health issues, if you're having struggles with your staff, with your patients, with maintaining sobriety, like my new patient, my reactivation is, the beauty is really in the struggle, and it's applying what we know and the belief of being the best person that we can be at this very moment. So I thank you for listening to me tonight. I apologize for rambling, but that's what I do best.
I think I can speak for everybody that we let you ramble on forever. I hope you can hear me. You did great. That was awesome. You can ramble on forever, dear. Live your best life, regardless of what's going on around you. Live your best life.
It's about living your best life.
Great advice for all of us, because all of us have stuff. Everybody has stuff, right? Just live your best life. That's right. Well, I know you can't hear me very well, so we're going to let everybody out. Remember, everybody, DE is April 21st to 23rd or 24th.
Yeah.
Make sure you get signed up, because I know there's going to be a hard time getting everybody in the hotel, and I know it's going to be a rocking one. So see y'all next Tuesday. Sign up for DE. And Liz Rassel, we love you. Thank you.
And Andy, Frankie wanted me to remind everybody that he'll be at August DE and October. The whole family will be there in August. So he looks forward to seeing everybody, especially Serge's daughter. I can't remember her name offhand. Felicity. He's all in, and he really looks forward to seeing her. So Serge, please bring your family in August.
That's right, Serge. Do it up. And we'll let you off the hook for that F word you did. Love you all. Have a great night.
All right. Thank you. Love you, Andy.
Good night, everybody.